Shalom, everyone. They told me and Rabbi Kaplinsky that since the kosher barbecue is on Sunday, that we should try to theme our talks and sermons with a barbecue-esque theme. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to write a barbecue-themed sermon, but barbecuing is not the most easy of topics to correlate to a 3,000-year-old book. So initially I thought that this was just an impossible task. I thought that it was almost ungrillevable. But I didn't want to... Did someone say boo? All right, I don't want to have a beef with anyone, so... Oh, you guys are ruthless tonight. I enjoy a good homiletic challenge now and then. So I got to thinking that maybe I can do this, and maybe we can have a bit of fun with this. And after all, I grew up in Texas. I've been around barbecue all my life. I've had a lot of good barbecue, and I've had some not so good barbecue. I've seen many a barbecue win and many a barbecue fail. And in thinking about it, I've got to admit the failures are always much more fun to talk about. So I decided to focus tonight on barbecue failures, because why not? So without further ado, I want to present you with my first barbecue sermon, which I emphatically called Barbecue Blunders. It's a fun name, I think. All right, this first story, this is a true story. It happened in the 90s. My older brother had gone off to college at the University of North Texas in Denton, and he started dating this girl. I don't remember her name. All that I remember was that she was from Michigan, and my Texas family did not understand her. I don't mean they didn't understand her accent. They did not understand her essence. They just did not get it. There was a lot of, well, bless her heart, if you know what I mean. And it was kind of sad because this girl, she was super sweet. She was really trying with my family, but I kind of realized that she likewise did not understand Texans. We used to have these big family barbecues. Everyone would come. Everyone would bring different side dishes, mashed potatoes and coleslaw and baked beans, etc. Well, my brother had brought his girlfriend down for a weekend that we were having the barbecue. And she asked my mom, she said, "What should I bring?" And my mom thought about it, and she told her to bring cornbread. I mean, that's pretty easy to make, pretty hard to mess up. So the day of the barbecue came, and everyone showed up. And everyone brought their stuff. There were beans and slaw and pies, all sorts of stuff, including my brother's girlfriend. She brought a beautiful dish of freshly made cornbread with vanilla icing on top. Poor thing thought it was a dessert. And all the women said, "Well, bless her heart." And then I kid you not, like 9 days later, they broke up after that. Barbecue blunders. All right. The second barbecue blunder happened when I was 18 years old. I took a family vacation with my high school girlfriend's family, and we went and visited her aunts and uncles and cousins in North Carolina. And getting to this little remote town in North Carolina was not fun. We had to fly from Austin into Raleigh-Durham, and then we had to rent a car, and we drove all afternoon. And when we got to their house, I was so tired and overwhelmed, and I was weirded out by the country nature of the people that lived there. It reminded me of that movie Deliverance. Anyway, they told me, they said, "We've prepared a barbecue for you in the backyard." And this was great, because I was totally starving. I couldn't wait to dive into that brisket, and we walked outside, and there was no brisket. There wasn't even really a grill per se. There was just a big fire pit with hot logs and coals underneath, and above it they had this enormous dead pig. And it had a metal rod going through its mouth and out its tuchus. And on the side there was this good old boy turning the spit, rotating this hog while smoking a cigarette. Now I have to admit, this was a lot for me to handle. But what happened next was worse. And I think about this sometimes right before I'm falling asleep. I'm haunted by this. Some other good old boy just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and he approached the dead pig, and he removed a pocket knife from his overalls, and he cut a piece of meat from the carcass, popped it in his mouth, and exclaimed these words which haunt my soul. He said, "And the wee little piggy went wee, wee, wee all the way home." And he just kept chewing it like it was a piece of gum. And when he did that, I just wanted to puke. I could not handle it. And I just looked around, just traumatized. And I was informed that this style of barbecue was in fact called a pig pickin'. It's something they do in the South for some reason. And I can honestly say, even though I wasn't Jewish yet then, I didn't eat any part of the pig at the pig pickin'. And I was so freaked out by this event, I never have eaten pork since then. That was the end. And as for that girlfriend, yeah, we broke up about 9 days. Barbecue blunders. In our Parshat for the week, Parshat Vayera, we read in the Torah about what might be the original barbecue blunder. We all know the story, the Akedah, more commonly known as the binding of Isaac. Now this story begins with God saying to Abraham, "Take your son, your only one, the one you love, Isaac, and offer him as a burnt offering on a mountain that I will show you." Now, let's just pause right there. A burnt offering. Friends, that's Torah code for barbecue. This is an awful request that God is making. Abraham must have been thinking, God, you've asked me to do some strange things already. Lech lecha, move to a completely new country. You told me to have a child when I'm 100, but this is a whole other level. But being ever faithful, Abraham goes along with it. He packs up the wood. He gets the fire ready. He takes his son up to the mountain. And Isaac, sweet little Isaac, looks up and says, "Dad, I see the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb?" Abraham, ever the optimist, says, "God will provide the lamb, my son." Now, friends, that is faith. By the way, this is also what I tell my wife when HEB is out of kosher meat. I say, don't worry, God will provide. But usually it's Trader Joe's that provides. I digress. And then in the story, at the very last second, as Abraham is about to light up the grill, God says, "Wait, stop, don't do it." And a ram appears in the thicket nearby. Now, folks, that's what I call a barbecue blunder. Now, let's review. Abraham got all the way up the mountain, did all the prep, got the wood stacked, and then got the fire started. And then God blundered the whole operation in one fell swoop. But here's the thing, my friends. God's barbecue blunder wasn't really a mistake at all. It was a test. We're told by the sages it was a part of God's plan. Because what God was really teaching Abraham, and I think all of us, is that faith sometimes means starting up the grill even when we don't understand the recipe. God changed the menu on Abraham halfway through, but that was the plan all along. Because obviously, friends, the goal wasn't to barbecue Isaac. What God wanted from Abraham wasn't Isaac's spare ribs or Isaac brisket. No, God wanted Abraham's journey, his trust, and the faith he showed along the way. And friends, that's what our annual Texas Kosher Barbecue is about too. And it's not just about the brisket, although there will be plenty of that, trust me. It's about community, about showing up, about trusting the process, even if someone brings cornbread with icing on top. So as we fire up the grills this Sunday, let's remember, sometimes even God has a barbecue blunder, but it's always part of the bigger plan. And if all else fails, just do what Abraham did. Keep the faith and look around for a backup ram. In conclusion, please remember, friends, when it comes to faith, we're all trying not to get burnt out. And we're here to make sure our souls stay well done. Shabbat Shalom. Barbecue Sameach.